On December 1st, 2010, a 24-year-old woman from right here in Melbourne sent a text message to a few members of her family and some very close friends. The message is strange and a bit alarming, but maybe not too out of the ordinary. She'd had some substance abuse issues in the past and at the time was dealing with a really rocky on-again, off-again relationship. So the strange, rambling message didn't cause too much alarm until that is the next day when this girl winds up at the bottom of a garbage chute in her own high-rise apartment building, dead.
Oh, my God.
This is the story of the mysterious and tragic death of Phoebe Handsjuk. Okay, so I'm going to start this story a little bit differently today. I'm not going to go chronologically through Phoebe's life. I'm going to go more chronologically through what her family knew and what happened and how it unfolded. And how it actually became a case.
Yeah.
So as I've said that, a little bit of background on Phoebe. She was born in 1986. Growing up, she was described as a wild child, but not naughty as such, just a bit, kind of wild and out there. She was popular and social, very creative and into art, and also really excelled in basketball. So she was very fit, very creative. Life wasn't perfect though, and she did suffer some mental health issues. She went on antidepressants at the age of 16 and was on and off them for the rest of her life. It was her putting herself on and off them.
Right.
Her parents didn't love that she was on them, and interestingly, her dad was actually a psychiatrist. And I say interestingly because I find it interesting that he was a psychiatrist, but they didn't love that she was on them.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah.
She was very, very close with her maternal grandmother. Her mum and dad got divorced and she took it pretty badly. She had a relationship with them again later in life, but she was very close with her grandmother, Jeanette. She started going out to nightclubs and stuff using fake IDs from the age of 13.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Which is wild, isn't it?
Yeah.
I was such a dork.
Yeah, 13. Me too. 13. I never would have done that.
Yeah, well, I was just, it's not that I couldn't have it. I wouldn't have because I was a little nerd. She was always described as having men forever drawn to her.
Okay.
She was infatuated by older men. She almost exclusively dated older men. And interestingly, her grandma was in a relationship with her, so her grandfather was much older. Her dad was 14 years older than her mum.
Oh, right.
And before they were married, her mum had been involved with a teacher.
Oh, okay. Right.
And then this is even more interesting as like a familial trait. One of Phoebe's first kind of serious relationships was when she was 16 with a teacher who was twice her age.
Oh, wow.
I don't believe it was her teacher.
Okay, just a teacher. A teacher,
yes. And her relationships have all been described as very fiery. There were always jealousy issues and a bit of toxicity.
Yeah, okay.
At the time of her death, Phoebe was dating a man called Anthony Hampel, known as Ant, and I'll call him Ant throughout. She was 24 and he was 43.
Oh, wow, okay.
So there's the background, and now I'm going to go chronologically through what happened from the family's perspective.
You guided me through.
I am.
Yeah, I love this.
And I will do that through life and always.
I appreciate that.
At 10:33 a.m. on December 1 in 2010, Phoebe sends the message that I brought up earlier.
Yeah.
It says this: "Hi family, I'm in bed about to sleep. When I wake, I will transform into the most incredible human being you've ever seen. Not, I will go to hospital. It's safer there, and I hear the special tonight is tomato soup. Delicious, nutritious. I love you all very much, but not enough to send an individual text. Sorry about that, but time is sleep and I must be on my way. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. XO."
That's a strange message.
What would you do or think if you got that?
I think someone would be having some sort of episode, maybe. Substance, you did mention substance before, but you'd be quite worried for the person if that was, an early message to get as well.
Yeah, I think interestingly it's coherent in terms of
it is
the spelling and the grammar and everything is correct.
And making a joke of I love you all but not enough to send it. Yeah.
So Phoebe's family knew that she suffered from depression and anxiety, and she was known to take substances, and she was described as a very, very light drinker, not a good drunk. 2 drinks would get her drunk, and she wasn't her best self when she was drunk.
Okay, right.
And in fact, shortly before her death, she'd actually told her grandmother that she was going to get herself sober, go to AA, and then wanted to travel off to India to work as a volunteer. So she was really, at this stage, really
set on
wanting
that, getting
to
clean and
but after saying that, she had got back into substances and alcohol in the weeks following that conversation between then and them getting this message.
Okay.
So knowing Phoebe might be in a fragile state, her family's even more concerned to be getting this in the late morning.
Of course,
like you pointed out, it's a late morning, you know. Her mum, Natalie, was travelling when the message came through, so she didn't get it right away. But a side chat starts with the other family members who did until Phoebe's grandmother finally calls Phoebe's boyfriend, Anthony, just a couple of minutes after the text came through. Aunt said Phoebe was Aunt at that time and Phoebe lived together on the 12th story of a high-rise apartment on St Kilda Road in Melbourne. So that's why she called him. A bit about Ant. He was a really successful promoter. 43 at this point. And he could provide and did provide a lot of the finer things in life for the two of them. We'll get onto him even more later. At this time, Ant tells Jeanette, the grandma, that when he left that morning, Phoebe was asleep and seemed fine. She'd had a bit of a bender the day before, but there was nothing. He wasn't concerned.
Okay, right.
But he says, you know, to ease your worries, I'll go and check on her.
Right.
It's a little unclear if he actually did go and check on her.
Right.
He says that he did, but it's only his account. The next day, so on December 2, Phoebe's dad, Len, was supposed to have dinner with Phoebe and Ant for his birthday. They were going out to his and their favourite Thai restaurant. The dad's birthday. I should say on the December 1 as well, Phoebe does send a message to her auntie, messages and says, you know, how are you going? She says, yeah, I'm fine. You know, Ant's looking after me, all good. So the next day, which is now December 2nd, after Phoebe's dad, whose birthday it is, gets off work, he calls one of Phoebe's phones at 6:50 p.m. Now, she had two phones. She had an old Nokia and Ant had got her an iPhone.
Right,
She kept the Nokia because she couldn't be bothered moving all the numbers across manually, so she still had that one too. So it was the iPhone that her dad called and it rang out. And then 30 seconds later, Ant rings the dad.
Okay, right.
So it's not Phoebe calling him back, it's him, and he says this is the first time Ant had ever called him. Ever. Ever. Doesn't think too much of it at the time. He just passes a message on to Ant saying, we're meeting for dinner for my birthday tonight. Can you get her to call me about what time? But Ant says Phoebe's not here, and the dad's like, what do you mean? We're going for dinner in like an hour. When is she going to be back? And Ant just says, I don't know. I didn't even know she was gone. When I got home from work, she just wasn't here. But she's got to be around because her handbag and her keys are here. And they live in one of these high-rise buildings. You need a fob to get into the building. So she, you know, obviously can't be far. He's super nonchalant about it. He's kind of saying she's not here. But
she's left herself here.
Exactly. Here I want to talk a bit about Ant and Phoebe's relationship. So they had met at a fancy celebrity hairstylist.
Right.
Phoebe was working at the front desk and he was a client of the business. He was a very successful events planner, very attractive and very wealthy. She and Ant, Phoebe and Ant, moved in together after only 5 months of dating.
Oh, right, okay.
When she did so, Ant encouraged her / Reed maybe made her quit her job as a receptionist at the salon. Because he thought that wasn't a great look for them as this couple. She could have a better job.
Right.
And he got her a job at an ad agency.
Okay, right.
Phoebe was very creative. She was very kind of arty and a bit free-spirited. So when she moved into Ant's apartment, she really wanted to put her personality on it.
Of course.
You could maybe call it clutter was her style, but she wanted things out and about and photos.
Her own vibe.
Yeah, absolutely. Ant was the polar opposite. complete minimalist. In fact, his cleaner was given the instructions to make sure it looks like no one lives there.
Oh, that's weird.
So friends and family actually said about the apartment after Phoebe had moved in that there wasn't a trace of her at all.
Right.
Save for
That's
a couple
sad.
of photos of them together. You wouldn't know she lived there otherwise. At
Right.
all. There was none of her art on the walls, nothing that was
I
her
don't like that.
personality.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
I don't like
that's
it
hard.
either.
Yeah.
If when you're in a relationship, you should, even if you look at someone's art and go, oh God, I hate that so much. My partner loves it. So
Yeah.
it makes them happy. We put it up.
Yep.
Phoebe had confided in her therapist that Ant put her down a lot and made her feel stupid and inadequate.
Well, even saying like the receptionist job is below her, that seems like such a silly, controlling thing to say.
Yeah, well, even if you're saying the job's below you, you could do better because you're amazing. By all accounts, it wasn't that. It was that job's a bit
not a good look
embarrassing
for
for
us.
us.
Yeah.
Like you need to do better than that is what
don't like that.
it sounds like. Phoebe's mum remembers a fight they had that Phoebe and Ant had. And Ant made Phoebe promise not to drink while he was away for work. He said, I'm leaving, you're not to drink anything at all. And she did and was honest with him about that. And they had a massive fight over the phone while her mum was there. And the mum really noted it at the time, saying this is yuck and controlling.
Yeah,
Why are you trying to control her? You're not even there. Why are you saying she can't have a
Yeah,
glass of wine?
yeah.
She had confided in friends, Phoebe had, that she felt like she didn't have a voice in their relationship.
Right.
That said, friends have said that Ant did make Phoebe really happy and she really loved him. It just really feels like one of those toxic relationships
really does.
where it's almost the line between love and hate is blurred.
Yeah,
It's all in, it's all passion, it's all love, or it's all anger, and
all
that
hate
line is
and-
blurred because the feelings are almost the same but at different ends of the spectrum.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
heightened to the same level.
Yep.
Have you ever been in one of those relationships?
No,
It's just
I
like,
haven't. What about you?
a very kind of short term one.
Yeah.
But it was a bit like that. It was either like so, oh, this is so amazing and so
Yeah.
wonderful. The feelings are so strong. Or
Yeah.
the feelings were so strong of, he was really jealous and would blow up and be like, it's just because I
Right.
love you so much. It really,
Annoying each other. Like every little thing is annoying, and
Oh, well, no, it was even bigger than
Yeah,
It was
right.
just all on or all off kind of thing. And that's what it sounds like this relationship was. And the next sentence I've written is that they were on again, off again quite a few times over the 18 months that they were together.
Yeah, wow.
In the weeks leading up to her death, things had been really rocky, the
Right.
rockiest they'd ever been. She told family and friends she'd actively tried to break up with him 4 times in just the few weeks before she died.
Oh, wow. Okay, yeah.
So a few years earlier, her mum had offered, when she was 21, her mum had offered, for your 21st birthday, I'd love to send you overseas to do a big trip. She had never gone. But a couple of weeks before she died, on October 10, she'd asked her mum if that offer for that trip was still there because she'd like to take her up on it.
Yeah.
And she said she may need to do so quickly and with not much notice.
Okay, that's really suspicious.
10 days after that, October 20, remember she
Yep.
died
December.
Yep. Phoebe left the apartment. For all intents and purposes, this was her leaving for good. She went and stayed with her grandmother who lived in regional Victoria, and she told her that she was leaving Ant. She was going to quit her job and move to Malakuta, which is where her grandma was. That's when she said she wanted to get sober.
Yep.
She was going to go to AA and wanted to go to India. Her grandma Jeanette was super supportive and said, I'll be there every step of the way, but you can't just run away from your problems.
Yep.
You need to go back to Melbourne, have a proper conversation with Ant to make sure, break it off
End
properly.
things properly, yeah.
Yeah, if you're leaving your job, you need to go and do that respectfully as well.
Yeah.
She actually did go to an AA meeting in Malakuta while she
Okay.
was there. And a woman from that meeting said that Phoebe spoke about having serious relationship issues. And during the meeting, her phone did not stop ringing. the
Oh,
whole
right.
time.
Okay, yeah.
So when Phoebe went back to Melbourne to do all of the above, Ant convinced her to give it another go.
Okay, yeah,
On
right.
October 24th, so only 4 days after that, she told her family that's what she was doing. Ant and I are giving it another go.
Right.
She promised her grandma she would calm down her drinking.
Okay, right. It's not really what you want to hear after saying I'm going to go to AA.
Well, and she had gone. She'd gone to a meeting as well. In the weeks that followed, there's a number of friends who've said on a number of occasions that Phoebe had left the apartment she shared with Ant and come to them vowing not to go back. So multiple times where she was saying, I'm done, I've left, this is me out. They'd have these huge big fights, she'd leave, and then when she wasn't with him, she'd say, I'm done, but he would, say, come and have a conversation with me at least, and every single time when she was with him, she would end up back with him.
Right, yeah, okay.
And at the time she died, she was with Ant and back living in the apartment officially. On November 30, so the night before she sent that strange text message, she'd had a night out with a friend from school and came home at 12:30 p.m. So just past midnight, 12:30 a.m. No, why is that? That's
came home
so
after lunch.
Stupid.
Yeah. It doesn't make no sense.
There we go. I'll say that as my Paudry peeve later. When Ant left for work that morning at 9 a.m, she was still sleeping in bed, and then at 10:33 she sent the weird message, and Ant received this message too.
Okay, right.
Yeah. He says he went back to the apartment to check on her later in the day because the family said, can you do so? He said when he got there, she was fine but really drowsy, and told him she'd taken 2 sleeping tablets, and I'm going to go into that a bit later too. They had been prescribed to Ant, not to her.
Okay.
And he was worried about leaving them with her. So after he went back, like when he went back to work after that visit, he actually took the packet with him.
Yeah.
He just didn't want her kind of
Heather
having
had
any
her.
more. Yeah. Later that night when he gets home from work, he says he made dinner, ran Phoebe a bath and gave her a massage.
Right.
Which just sounds like what you would say.
Yeah.
But
the
to
perfect
be
person.
fair,
Yep.
like I said before, Phoebe's auntie did say she messaged her and said, Ant's looking after me. So maybe there was a bath and massage. I don't know. All right, now we're back to December 2, the day we now know Phoebe died.
Mm-hmm.
That morning, the cleaner came and noted that Phoebe was absolutely fine, happy, normal. She actually noted that she was really smiley and really chatty.
Right.
And now I'm going to jump back to where Ant is on the phone to Phoebe's dad.
Oh, yep.
So Phoebe's dad's called. So, cleaner came in the morning. That's the only person who saw her during the day, said she was really happy. Then that evening, Ant came home. She wasn't there.
Yep.
He called the dad for a chat, and she said, where's Phoebe? Oh, she's not home. Phoebe's dad says to Ant, you should report her missing if she's not there.
Yeah.
She sent this weird message yesterday. If she's not there and her bag is there and her keys are there, that's odd.
Really suspicious.
You should report her missing. Ant said, she can be a bit wayward. I don't need to do that. That's fine. When their call ends, Phoebe's dad, Len, then calls a couple of other members of the family to say, has anyone heard from Phoebe today?
Yeah.
No one had. They were all concerned and were kind of ringing around to each other. But then Ant made a second call to Len and said, Phoebe's been found. She was dead.
Oh, wow.
This news is shocking enough, but when the family hears how Phoebe died, things were about to get a lot more shocking and a lot more confusing. What they learned is that around 7 p.m. that night on December 2, the building's concierge was looking for a broom. She went into the basement room where they keep stuff like brooms and cleaning supplies, and it's also where the garbage compactor was.
Oh,
so
okay,
in big high-rise buildings, like in the one I'm living in.
Yeah. You've got like a chute.
A chute, exactly what it is. So a garbage chute on each floor so people don't have to take their rubbish up and down in the lift. You put it down the chute and it all goes to a big compactor at the bottom. So it doesn't, with these big high rises, it doesn't just go into a bin. It goes straight into a compactor that squishes it down so everything can fit into the bins.
Yeah.
When the concierge went to try to find the broom, she opened the door to the garbage compactor area, and when she tried to open the door, it wouldn't open. Like it was jammed. It wouldn't open at all. There was something heavy up against it. She pushed and pushed, but she couldn't get it open. So she looks in the window in the door into the garbage compactor room, and she could see what was blocking it right away. She thought, or maybe hoped, it was a mannequin.
Oh, my God.
But it wasn't. When she looked again after taking a couple of minutes and a few big deep breaths, she noticed it was a dark-haired woman lying on the floor with blood everywhere.
Oh, my God.
This concierge, of course, notified the police. The police have to tell Len and Natalie that their daughter has died by falling 12 floors down the rubbish chute, where at the bottom her foot was severely cut by the compactor machine.
Oh, my God.
Like severely cut.
Yeah.
Like barely,
Oh, my God.
Yeah. She bled to death as she crawled for the door looking for a way out.
Oh, my God.
They go on to immediately tell the family that her death was either a suicide or a tragic, horrible accident, but they'll know more when an autopsy is done.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that, straight up?
It sounds very suspicious because I know those things are very small.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's really hard, I imagine. Well, I'm only basing that on yours, but it would be very hard, I imagine, to get in to one of those.
And we will get into that conversation in a moment.
Yeah, sure.
The results of the autopsy, of course, did come back, and investigators used the results of them to bolster their thoughts. Phoebe had traces of a sleeping pill called Stillnox.
Oh, Stillnox, right. That knocks you out straight away, doesn't it?
Well, it's like Ambien. So for our US listeners, now Ambien is the sleeping pill that was found in Heath Ledger's system when he died. And Stillnox itself, I actually know about Stillnox because of my own experience with it and a story that I covered when I was in uni. Actually, I interviewed a girl whose sister had, quote unquote, committed suicide by she had in the middle of the night walked out and jumped off a bridge, and the family is 100% convinced that it was not a suicide.
Right.
She was on Stillnox at the time, and they think it was the effects of the drug that she was sleepwalking.
Right. Wow.
Really, and there are numerous cases like that.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, my personal experience with Stillnox is that I did an exchange in France when I was 17, and when I was flying back home, my host dad was a doctor, and he had given me a sleeping tablet to have on the plane on the way home so I could sleep on the long flight, which was Stillnox.
Yeah, right.
Myself and my friend Marielle, who had also done the exchange with me, shout out Tom, her husband, I know you're listening, we both took a Stillnox, and I went to sleep. I took it and then tried to go to sleep.
Yep.
She took hers and then stayed awake to watch a movie and was like, I'll fall asleep when I feel sleepy.
Yep.
Now, I don't know if that's something about it that, like, if you try to fight it, it kind of has these effects, but she full-blown hallucinated.
Really?
And she'll be mortified if she knows I'm telling this story, so I won't give you details about the hallucinations, but she was seeing things in the screen in the seat in front of her. She thought she was seeing people walking up and down the aisles. Oh, that's so scary.
Like really, and being trapped in that place as well, that'd be terrifying.
Yes, yeah. So that's what I know.
Or you having a
about,
lovely sleep next to her.
Oh, so, well, no, I woke up because she woke me up because she was saying, look, there's fish all coming out of the screen in front of me. But I did think it was funny at the time. But it's really not. It's really scary. So that's what I know about Stillnox.
Right.
So the autopsy found Stillnox, which we know and said that she had taken. She also had a blood alcohol level of 0.16, which is 3 times the legal limit to drive.
To be able to drive, yep.
Yeah, so, you know, that's pretty.
Yeah, pretty high.
Yeah. And it's, of course, no secret that mixing alcohol with sleeping tablets can be really dangerous.
Right. And at that, for it to be in her system that long after, like if she had a big night or something the night before, at 10 o'clock or when they found her, that would be, I imagine, quite a lot.
They found her at 8 p.m.
the next day.
The December 2.
Yeah, okay, yep.
So that's why those in charge of the investigation felt really comfortable saying there's definitely no foul play here. There's no reason to investigate further.
Right.
Either she was depressed and went into the garbage chute on her own to take her own life, or she was delusional because of the mix of the Stillnox and alcohol, and this was some kind of terrible accident, hallucination, something. But Phoebe's family was not convinced of this, which of course you wouldn't be. You would never want to believe that happened.
Of course not. What a way to end your life as well. Like, that's so awful.
It's such a horrible, horrible way to go.
Yeah.
It does not make any sense to me whatsoever that you might choose to end your life that way.
No.
And we'll get into Stay with me. The main person in Phoebe's family who was really like, I'm not convinced on this and I'm going to look into it further, was her grandfather, Lorne Campbell. Mm-hmm. He was a retired homicide detective.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So he immediately thought this is anything but an open and shut case. The more he learned about Phoebe's tragic death, the more convinced he became that it was not suicide and that an accident was incredibly unlikely.
It sounds it. Like, I mean, just from this, it just sounds so unlikely.
So let's talk about the physics.
Right.
The garbage chute itself. Now, it wasn't like those, like the laundry chute where you kind of, push it in and it's a flap that goes in and you throw stuff down. Mm-hmm. It is, as you said, like the one at my apartment building.
It's got a handle and you pull it and it comes
out.
And it's like its own little kind of, I don't know, how do you even describe it?
It's kind of like, it opens like an envelope. So the bottom of it stays attached to the wall and the top of it comes out. So it makes like a triangle.
Yeah.
It's got a handle and it's quite difficult to open.
Yep.
And it's got an automatic thing that it automatically closes.
Yep.
Not like a automatic door that it slowly closes. It, really kind of springs back in so it can't sit open.
Yeah.
It's also small, like it's just a little square.
Tiny, yeah.
So when it's open, the widest opening, so the widest it can open is 37.2 centimetres by 22 centimetres. Mm-hmm. And for our US listeners, I've done the math, which is an American way to say it. It is 14.5 inches by 8.5 inches. Mm-hmm. So
it's not a big area. It's tiny, isn't it?
That's not the area. That's not the size of the whole door. That's the opening.
The opening of the chute. Yeah. Okay. Yep.
Now, I haven't done my own measurements for research, but I am an average to small size woman, and my shoulders average to small size girl boss, and my shoulders and bum are like struggling to I would think
to fit in that. Yeah,
exactly. Phoebe was a small girl. She was very petite, and look, no one's debating whether or not she was in there. That's definitely how she ended up where she did at the bottom of it. So she was definitely in there at some point. The question is, according to her grandfather Lorne, would it be physically possible for her to put herself in there?
Yeah, to climb up while the door's open and be in there. And because when it closes, the chute goes down, so it's like
it goes straight immediately down. Because not only was the chute itself really tiny, but it was where the chute is on the wall is a metre off the ground. It's not down on the ground.
No.
So Lorne could not fathom how this could be possible.
Yeah.
He knew it was going to be very difficult, but he didn't know if it would be impossible. So what he did was he had made a replica of the chute, so he could do his own measurements, experiments. This. He thought even in a really delusional state, like that's probably even less likely that you could do all of that. So we got one of Phoebe's friends who was a similar size to her, and like Phoebe had been really into fitness, this thing, she was fit and agile, right? Now, you can actually watch him recreate this because it was done for 60 Minutes Australia.
Oh, right, okay.
So you can watch this. And Her Magistrate, I implore you all to do so because it is do so now. We'll let you pause, go and watch it, and then come back because to see it really changes your perspective on the whole thing.
Yeah. Maybe I'll play some audio here of that moment. We can. Not that audio, but different.
No, because kind of, yeah. We'll see.
I mean, audio of the 60 Minutes.
No, I've now realised
your
that.
audio
I've now
going,
realised while they wait, while they watch.
Okay.
All right, so I will explain it to you though. To open it first, like, you can open it normally. To get her foot up onto the opening, she has to lift her foot up pretty high. She can't get her other foot in there without having to really pull herself up and it's quite difficult to do so. There's nothing to hold on to on the wall.
You'd think if she was stepping up on something, like she had something up against the wall, she'd be able to do it.
Yes, and it's not you don't open it up and then there's, a flat surface in there. And there's nothing on the wall around it. And the one in my apartment building is the same. There's nothing there.
Yeah.
It was the same in this apartment. So there's nothing to grab onto. So she's really kind of clambering against the wall. She's, touching everything, trying to get herself up there. She does eventually get her 2 feet in. And once she actually physically gets herself in there, she has to really brace herself against the wall and the ceiling to kind of get the second foot even like into the chute. And I think that's an important thing to point out as well because she does get 2 feet in there at some point.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Phoebe does, not the friend.
No, the friend.
Oh, the friend gets
no one's seen Phoebe do it, right? But on Phoebe, it's not disputed that she went down feet first.
Yes, okay.
Because it was her foot that was damaged by the compactor. She also had no injuries to her head. Mm-hmm. So it's not disputed at all that she went down feet first, which is why they've done the experiment reenactment this way. So when the friend who's doing the reenactment gets fully in, she's like kind of ankles deep in this thing. She has to really kind of, move herself around to be able to kind of get to a point where she could start going down. She can't do it with her arms by her side at all because it's so small. So she has to put her arms right up above her head. And the people who are helping her do this reenactment are having to hold the door open so it doesn't like really close on her.
Oh, right.
Because it's really got quite a strong automatic closure.
Yeah.
They have to hold it open as she starts going down because otherwise it would have slammed on her fingers or a wrist or something because she's got her hands up above her head. Now, Phoebe did have bruising on her shoulders and arms, specifically her elbows, but she did not have any injuries to her hands or wrists or fingers at all.
Right, okay.
So they think that the bruising on the arms was kind of from like banging around on the way down, but she didn't have any injuries on her hands. Mm-hmm. And the way this reenactment is done, and it wasn't practiced beforehand. It was done on camera for the first time. So it wasn't like they were going, make this look this way. And it wasn't bloody OJ with the forcing his hand into the glove to make it look like it didn't fit, allegedly. This girl would have, doing the reenactment, would have had her fingers squished.
What a call to get as well from the grandfather to be like, can you come and reenact this? Like it's your friend that, that's so hard.
And that's something that, people on the other side will say, you've got a friend, so she's going to want to make it look like it was difficult because she doesn't want to believe that this is something that her friend did to herself as well. But riddle me this, Sammy Peterson. If Phoebe went into the shoot because she was so messed up on alcohol and sleeping tablets, how did she physically do it? The girl in the reenactment is stone cold sober, doing it, and is really, 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 really struggling. How does someone who is on this cocktail of drugs and alcohol do so without more injuries that are consistent to the injuries she would have got from the shoot itself? And getting
it just doesn't really make sense. It not at all. Like even just thinking about your one, like it does not make sense to be able to do that because you're at height to throw things. You're throwing out a garbage bin, you're throwing out whatever it is. It doesn't make sense physically at all to be able to get in it. Because you really got to get
up and into
it.
Yeah. Now, there's another detail that complicates the kind of physical logistics around this as well. When Phoebe was found, her jeans were pulled down below her thighs.
Oh.
Now, if this had happened before when she went in the chute. There's no way she could have lifted her leg to get up there. Absolutely no way. The fall itself couldn't have dislodged her pants because she went down feet first.
Yep.
So it's not like her pants got caught on anything. Now, based on her injuries and the blood patterns in the room where she was eventually found, authorities have said that she was alive when she reached the bottom.
How awful.
Just awful.
Yeah,
like
she
one
bled
of
out.
the worst things I've ever heard.
Yeah.
So perhaps her pants have slid down while she was kind of trying to get out or something. Maybe she's tried to take them off because her foot was in so much pain or something. I don't know. And we won't know. But that's just another kind of weird little bit about the story.
Yeah.
Now, another thing that is very, very interesting about this, once you've seen the video in particular of the girl doing this reenactment, is that there were no fingerprints found on the chute or on the walls around the chute at all.
Wow.
But at all. Not Phoebe's fingerprints.
Yeah,
no fingerprints. Now, this is in an apartment building.
Yeah, where lots of
everyone
people are
uses
using
the
it.
chute.
Yeah.
So to me, that feels like it had been cleaned, which is odd. So you can see why Phoebe's family is really, really struggling to accept that this was an accident or suicide.
Oh, of course. And when you got a grandfather who is a former homicide detective.
He knows about things.
Yeah, he knows about this. Yeah.
Now, that is where I'm going to leave it for this week.
Okay, Georgia love.
Because there is a lot more to get through.
Okay.
And I don't want to overwhelm you with everything.
Yeah, there's a lot of details right there.
It is just no matter what happened, and stay tuned. It is the most horrific way to go that I could think of. Really,
absolutely.
Just this poor young woman. But we've got more to get into.
We've got more to get into, and we know we've done a couple of. We did the Green River Killer in 2 parts because we thought it was such an intense story to tell in one sitting. We're actually going to have a little break and we're going to come back and we're going to do the second part of this story.
We've started researching too
deeply. Yeah. This was Phoebe's Fall was a document. Yes. Was a documentary I've heard of, or
I have that written in there. But I will say now,
I'll
say it at the end of the story.
Or listen to our one first.
Yeah, but it's a podcast called Phoebe's Fall by The Age, and it was a really in-depth investigation and look into what happened, and it's brilliant and very well done. I hadn't given it a plug yet because I haven't told you the end of the story.
No. Well, we would love to hear your thoughts on this as well. If you want to write in to Sammy at justanothercompany.com.au, you can do that. You can also leave us a voicemail. And Georgia Love, would you like to hear a couple little voicemails?
Yes,
for this
I
week?
would. I love them.
Well, we have another crime that has been, as we call it, a voicemail. People speak pipe in. That's just what the website's called. It's called a speak pipe. And you know what? Some people like to tell us a crime that they could that we could talk about or something that they're interested in. And this is a more personal one. On today's episode, and I'd like you to hear this story for the first time. And it is playing now.
Hey, Sammy and Georgia. I just thought I'd send a speak pipe to say that I'm absolutely loving the podcast, but I'm just going to withhold my identity because I'm not only calling in to report a crime, but I'm actually calling in to admit to a crime as well. And to top it all off, it actually involves one of you guys.
Oh God, I feel nervous.
See, I'm a childhood friend of Sammy's, and when Sam was a kid, he had a really cool soft toy bulldog, which I guess is foreshadowing because he actually got a real bulldog 25 years later. But this bulldog was called Fluffy, and I just decided I really, really, really needed the same bulldog, so I got one, and I called mine Spike, or so Sammy thought, because I only did that while I was in public and while I was around Sam. The rest of the time I would just call it Fluffy because it just wasn't a spiky dog, it was a fluffy dog. So I called it Fluffy, and I almost got found out once actually because Sam was playing at my house and my dad walked in and he said, Adrian's got a Fluffy as well, and Sam got really upset and he said, no, that's Spike. And I think the saving grace why Sam didn't find out on that day was because my dad got really confused and he kind of walked out of the room.
Or didn't care.
What's happening? So, look, Sam, I'm sick of living this double life and it's been tearing me up inside, so I'm coming clean, and I hope you can find it in your heart to forgive me and Fluffy. I mean Spike. And let us into your heart again. Thank you.
That's my good friend Adrian, one of my oldest friends in the world, Adrian.
So
we grew up together.
are you just finding out now?
Yeah. This is
dog was named Fluffy?
huge.
Can I also have a moment to say that my best childhood friend left a speak pipe about a crime committed allegedly by me as a child.
Allegedly.
When I allegedly stole something off her soft toy dog.
Yeah.
Why are they both soft toy dog
They're both soft toy dog themed. Adrian, so funny. So
that is so brave of you.
Oh, God, you're brave.
Oh, that's so brave, Adrian.
I had this dog, Fluffy, that I was just in love with. And Fluffy is exactly the dog that Diggs is.
Oh, my
Which
God.
is, and I have another confession that is so funny to me that G, for my birthday last year, because I told you that I had this dog, Fluffy, that I had as a soft toy dog. And when I grew up, I got my Fluffy. I got my real life Fluffy, which is Diggs. And you, for my birthday last year, thought it'd be really cute because I told you that story that I had a Fluffy, which became Diggs, and I told you that, and then you messaged my mum. And you said, do you remember this? You said, I'd love to get a photo of Fluffy to kind of show him and blah, blah, blah. And
I did. I got a photo frame that has like two sides to it,
which is behind me.
It's
Yeah.
So I put a photo of you and Diggs on one side and then a photo that your mum sent me of you and Fluffy on the other side.
Yeah. And it wasn't Fluffy. Like it was a different soft toy that that I had called Alex. I think it's that one, right? Isn't it? Yeah. Which is so cute because I've got the beautiful photo of. Yeah, you can show the camera there. It's a beautiful photo.
The best part about this is when beautiful Geraldine, Sammy's mum, sent through the photo. I saw it. Now the photo is of Sammy and a soft toy dog that is 100% definitely a Saint Bernard. Like 100% definitely a Saint Bernard.
Yeah.
So when your mum sent me through that photo, I was like, oh, Sammy's done that thing where he's embellished the story over time or he's remembering it differently. That doesn't look anything like Diggs. It wasn't the right toy.
It wasn't the right toy.
It was meant to be a really beautiful birthday
It was
present.
still a beautiful, but I got a beautiful photo of me and Diggs right there. But yeah, so Adrian, that's so funny. Adrian lied about Spike and Fluffy, and I will not forgive you for this.
No, and nor you should.
And
nor should you.
I should.
It's also
nor I should I nor?
Nor I.
Nor I
Nor
should.
is my auntie's name.
Her Magistrate, I implore you.
I employ you. Also, Fluffy is such a funny name for a bulldog.
I know. Yeah. And
Fluffy.
Adrian's like a sort of spiky dog.
Fluffy.
Adrian doesn't know a lot about dogs. I will admit that right there. But yeah, I got my own little fluffy dog, the beautiful Diggs, which is my big boy over there.
The love of your life.
Oh, he really is. Isn't he beautiful?
He's snotting out his nose a little bit.
He's snotting out his nose a little bit because he's probably very hungry. He hasn't eaten yet, so he's very hungry.
That's a hint. Someone wants to go for dinner. Hey,
Diggs.
do you have a Paudry peeve?
I not yet. I don't have one right now. But what would your Paudry peeve for this week be?
All right. Have I done the hand dryer one yet?
We have. Oh, here's one. I can tell one quickly. So I've signed up for a gym recently.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, the people that don't wipe their sweat off the machines, it's so gross because you're meant to take a towel with you, and I take a towel with myself.
Yeah,
My towel takes me.
And I as well.
My towel takes me to the gym.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And thank you for saying that. And and I get so annoyed at the people that do not towel down.
Oh, that's not even a
Towel
peeve.
down.
That's like just a hygiene issue.
human nature.
Does no one remember
Human
the
nature.
goddamn pandemic?
Does no one remember the novel coronavirus?
Does no one
Wake
remember
up.
the boys group Human Nature?
Oh, one of the greatest boy bands of all time.
They really are. I went to one of their concerts once.
We should play them after this. They're great. Yeah, go to one of their concerts.
Let's do it.
Did you?
They were fantastic.
Well, they would be fantastic.
And they did a whole set of all Christmas songs, and
they're
I
great.
loved it.
You would have loved it. They're great. Georgia Love, what is your Paudry peeve for this week?
It
About
is
the laundry?
when
No, hand dryer.
yes,
Yep.
when in any kind of public bathroom. I feel like I've done this one.
Oh, maybe you have.
I'll do two just in case I have. Any kind of public bathroom, like a restaurant or a airport or something.
I understand what a public bathroom
Thank you. they put the hand dryers up too high.
Oh, yes.
That when you put your hands up to reach a height, all the water drips down your wrists and it feels awful. I feel like I've told that story before.
Right.
And so if I have, I'll do another one that is also hand drying related.
God, they irk you.
Oh,
God, they irk
I know,
you,
I'm
Georgia.
so yucky about my hands being wet and my wrists and stuff. But I absolutely hate when bathrooms at a restaurant have paper serviettes as the hand towels to dry your hands on.
Yep.
They don't dry your hands. They all go wet and soggy and rip and they feel horrible and I hate it.
And she hates it. God, you're mad about this.
I'm mad. I just want nice dry hands.
You just want nice dry hands. There ain't nothing wrong with that. That ain't no crime.
You know,
That ain't
and
no
the
crime.
worst is when the water drips down and it gets like on the sleeve of your jumper.
Yuck. That's a yuck from us.
Yuck.
That's a yuck from us. Hey, everybody. Thank you for listening this week. Please do leave a 5-star rating, 5-star review. If you want to leave us a voice note, which we call a speak pipe, the link is below. You can confess to a crime yourself like Adrian just did before. You can also write into me at sammy@justanothercompany.com.au. Thank you to Oliver Clark for doing the music and Tamsin Hayes for doing the artwork. Georgia, is there a way to follow us?
There is on Instagram and TikTok at Not Another Crime Podcast. And you can watch us on YouTube.
You can watch it on YouTube as well. Part
That's
1
right.
of this story, all about Phoebe, and I'm really interested to hear the end of this next week, Georgia love. I will be coming to Hobart if you want to come and check me out on the 18th of July.
Oh, they'll be checking you out. All right.
Do that. I'm also at Comedy Republic heaps over the next few weeks if you want to come and watch me do comedy if you're in Melbourne.
God, he's good.
God, he's good. He's goddamn professional. Georgia, it's been lovely to finally meet you.
Thank you so much. It's been also a night that I've met you as well.
See you next week for part 2, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.